Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the Risoux Forest. Honestly, that's nothing. And I want to go to the map, growth, soil composition, fertilizer. There's a bit up over there, and then we've also got the small field that we need to go and deal with. So we got a bit of nighttime working that we got to do because I got greedy. That's alright. We can cope with that. I'll try not to do that again, because honestly, the different, like, that amount of extra that we take through, it's not going to make much difference to the way that we're playing this game. So we don't actually need to worry about that. I lowered it down rather than I lowered down the front weight rather than turning off the fertilizer spinner, which is probably not the best way to go about doing this. So, as I can't go through there, because some idiot parked in the way, we will have to go around this way. Round we go, down our new track, across the footpath, and then we can just start in here. So it's going to take a lot to do this field. We'll eventually expand a bit more over here so that we have a bit more grass on this side. Swing you on around there. Tomorrow we will, because we're going to have a boatload more money, we will buy the next house that we want to buy. So we'll buy that one, we'll build that one, we'll sort of sort a few bits out for it. We do want a machinery shed. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put that yet. That one's on my to-do list. Let's bring you in through this way. There we go. Okay, fertilizer has been dealt with. It's much better now that I've gone and removed a whole load of those lights. It's nowhere near as laggy in here. It's not quite as bright, but I actually prefer it like this rather than how we did have it. So now we got to go to you. You're still on loading. There's space for 5 pallets on here. I'm not going to worry about that. I do sometimes like to have a completely full load before I go and sell, just to see what the full load will get us. But I'm not too concerned about that this time around. So I'll run you down this way. We want some street lights up here, I think. Well, I don't know. Like, we do and we don't. Personally, I prefer not to have street lights. You know, if I'm living in a more rural area, I don't want street lights outside my house. I want it to be dark outside my house when it's supposed to be dark. Because that's just my personal preference, though. So, furniture up there. There we go. Just slowly slide on through there. I want enough to be able to build our new house. But I'd also like to start paying off a little bit of the loan as well, I think. I did borrow a load more money in order to be able to get that Crone mower that we now have. There we go. 300,000 euros for that little tiny bit of furniture. I'm going to go and get another little tiny bit of furniture, which is the stack that we pulled off already. So I would guess that, well, that's not a full load. This wasn't quite a full load, but that one's like load and a half. So, 1.5 lines, layers. So I would guess that the next lot is going to be another 150,000, which is going to take us up to about 500,000. Now, our loan is more than that, so we won't be able to pay off the whole loan this time around. I would very much like to be able to clear that as quickly as possible, though. Definitely on my to-do list is clearing all of that. But we're going to be able to pay off some of it after we've gone and bought our next house. Let's start loading you up, shall we? Down through there. All neat and tidy. Stop loading, and I now have another 40,000. I have 46,000, so we get more than 150, which means I reckon it will end up with, say, 525,000. That's my guess, is 525,000. Stick a number in the comment section while I'm driving over to the sell point. Just any number, what you think that our grand total is going to be once we've sold these. I won't do anything else tonight. As soon as I've sold them, we will go straight to bed and sleep the night. Have you put that number in yet? You need to put that number in the comment section. Curious to see what you think the overall amount is going to be. I'm saying 525 is what we're going to end up with. Let's go. Start selling furniture. So I just want to slowly start pulling across like this. Just work my way across the sell point, and I want to do it slowly because I want the whole lot to sort of have a final sale value at once so I can see what the total thing is. I said 525. It would appear that I may have been slightly out on that guess. More than a little bit slightly out. That was 265,000, which gives me 621,000 in total. I was almost 100,000 euros out on there. I suppose, yeah, it was 46,000 and I had 40,000 and we had like 300, so I don't know why I was saying 150. It's because I said half to start with. I confused myself. So anyway, I was very, very wrong. I'd be interested to see what your guesses are when I see the numbers that some of you may have typed in. We go up here and go to bed. So we're at 621,000 euros. That's not a bad amount of money. Not really. That's not bad at all. 620 now. Let's go into here. Actually, we need to check our cows. So let's. I don't want to go anywhere, I suppose, to check the cows. I can jump to you, and we can physically walk over and check the cows. We don't need to buy any more cows though until September. It's our next purchasing time. Cows look good. The health is 69 because we let them run out of food previously, didn't we? That was just me being an idiot. Those are 1 month. 13, 4, 10, 7. Excellent. Right. And productivity is 100. Health is starting to come up. So the value of the animals will start to come up as well. But we don't need to worry about them today. And they've got plenty of food as well. Productivity. We've got 18,000 there. So they should be okay for food today. We'll feed them tomorrow. Right. Construction. I want to build... Oh, not that way. I want to build another house. Now, I did prepare a level area here for the house. So all I got to do is find the house that we're going to build. So it was one of these high-rises that I was looking at. That one's 285, and that gets us 12,000 per month. This one over here is a cheaper one. That's 195, and that gets us almost 10 grand a month. I don't know if it scales exactly. I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to try and vary this a bit. And I kind of like this one. I like the idea of having these patios and so on, and just the general feel of this structure right here. I like it a lot. It does actually look like I need to... Oh, going back there. Yeah, it was a little tiny bit over in that corner that I would have needed to alter. So if I just come out of this a minute, and then I change my time scale to 60 times speed, so that time is ticking past, because I don't want to spend too long working on the landscaping. And then I will go back over to the landscaping over here, and we can start setting this place up. So what we would want, we've got a block of flats here. I'm not quite sure how many there are. I'm gonna guess and say that this would have, I mean, what have we got here? You sort of look around this building and you see the size of it. It's either small flats or quite big flats. This could be as little as 3, it could be as many as 6. So I'm going to assume that we would want something like 6 parking spaces for this one. And we do need to account for parking spaces. That's something that we are going to have to do, is we're going to have parking spaces for these different ones. Now, this is a complex rather than a single house. So you wouldn't necessarily have a large garden for each flat. You do sometimes, but we're not going to here. This is what we're going to have here is one mid-sized garden for all of them to share. The fence that we're going to use is going to be that one. It sort of feels a little bit more industrial. And I actually did. I specifically want that. Yeah, I think actually we'll start this one up over here. The entranceway is going to be here. So we've got that fence down that side, and then there's going to be an entranceway there. So that's fence. I suppose actually... No, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this one. It's not the prettiest of fences, but it's a block of flats. And quite often a block of flats is sort of... It's a little bit different. So put you out to here, like this. Now, where are we going to go from here? I think that's about as far as I want to go. I'll go on a little bit further. I'm going to end up taking down that tree, I think. So we'll come back that way. And it's just going to be a straight line over there. And then there's going to be a straight line that is going to go over to here. As tight to this fence here as I can get it. There we go. Just like that. Right, there's the fence all the way around the property. We're going to need... This is... Because we're going to have... This is a communal area. This is a communal structure. So the... trees on the outside, they can stay there. That might be an area that they can get out and go for a walk in, maybe. That everybody gets to share, something like that. I don't really know. We haven't got that far yet, have we? So let's next go here, and we'll try smoothing some of this out. How are we going to do this? So I want to press that down. Up there. Again, every time I use this, I get a little bit irritated by the fact that it doesn't bring anything up. Now, there are instances where you don't want it raising stuff up, but I think that we should have an option on here to switch between just pushing down. So soften down, soften up, so it'll only pull up to a set height. Which means that it won't lower anything down at all. It will only raise the middle part up. And then soften both. I think that should be what we should have. Rather than what we've got here at the moment, I think it should be sort of a combination of... We should have options for it. More options! That's what we want. If there are any mod makers out there, you've heard my cry, you've heard my plea. Can you do it? Can the mod makers help us out with that? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Let's... I don't know enough about mod making to know whether or not that would even be feasible. To be able to... Whether it would be possible to do something like that. And there. Speaking of mods... I've been playing in my own spare time, lately, an awful lot of a game called Medieval Dynasty. And if anybody likes a slow-paced, relaxing game, it's survival / building and village management. You play as a person who goes to a valley, and you end up building a village and then inviting people to come and live in your village with you, and you construct the village around you. It's brilliant fun. I love it. It's very relaxing. It's a very chilled out sort of game. If you're someone that likes to min-max everything and rush through a game, I guarantee you that Medieval Dynasty is not for you. If you're more chill out, take your time, we'll see where this takes us. Medieval Dynasty is a game for you. You will thoroughly enjoy it. But if you like a bit more of a fast-paced game, If you want to like get through content really quickly, then you're going to get bored with it pretty quick. The whole point of the game, really, if there is any point other than managing your village, is to slowly, over time, raise your son. You get married, you have a son, and then your son gets older. You see him getting older as you play. You have quests, you interact with him, and your wife as well. And then once he reaches a certain point, he takes over from you, running your village. Now, this can either be when you have an unfortunate accident, once he's reached the age of 18, if you have an unfortunate accident, if you hug a bear or try to kiss a wild boar or something like that, bad things will happen to you, and you will shuffle off this mortal coil, and your son will take over. Or you can just retire and live out your days in the tavern, watching the world go by as your son takes over running of the village. And you take over as your son, so then you start playing as your son instead of as yourself. The normal base game default settings are you have 3 days per season, so 3 days for spring, 3 days for summer, and so on. It takes 2 minutes of gameplay for 1 hour in a game to pass by. So you're looking at 20 minutes per day, which means that you're looking at about an hour for a season to trickle on past. With normal gameplay. So you're looking at about 4 hours of gameplay for 1 year to go past. Now, keep in mind that your son is probably not going to turn up for the first 5 years of gameplay, maybe 4 if you're even 3 if you really speed things up. But a lot of people, they don't have their son turn up until year 6 to year 10. And then you've got 18 years to raise your son before he can even take over, at about an hour per, so 4 hours per year. So a lot of hours of gameplay accumulate in that time. So you sort of get that, give you an idea of the slow pace of the game. Now, if a slow paced game is not for you, this game is probably not for you. But I really love it. I really do enjoy playing it. If I was still doing videos for other games, I would almost certainly attempt to do a series on it, although because it's such a slow-paced game, I'm not sure how a series would work out. There is a lot of gameplay out there that people have done, but for me, in my particular style of doing games and recording and so on, I'm not sure that it would work all that well for me. Besides, it's a game that I like to play just for me. It's not one I have any plans for doing videos for, unless I do decide at some point to try and make some short instructional videos for no other reason than I want a few short instructional videos if there's something that someone wants explained that there aren't videos around to help with at the moment. But there's already an awful lot of videos and content. So yeah, that's what I've been playing at the moment. And absolutely love that game. It is brilliant. So it's well worth a look. Right. So, but yeah, you basically you're building a village. So it's kind of like what I'm doing here, except that you're doing it in first person, and you have to go and gather all of the materials in order to be able to do it. There's various different ways that you can play it. You can, if you wish, you can play the entire game with some. You have, like, weight restrictions, so there's only so much that you're allowed to carry around at once. So if you want to build a house out of stones and logs, not only do you need to go and get all the stones and logs, but you've got to carry them only a few at a time. Your weight restriction will stop you from being able to carry very many. If you want to create in your kitchen, because you have a kitchen where you feed your people, if you want to be able to create 200, well, let's say 50 bowls of stew, you have to create them all one at a time. And this goes hand in hand with the slow pace of the game. You do them, you don't have to stand there and click one at a time. You can set it doing your 50 bowls of stew, and then you can sort of watch. You can do other things while it's working in the background. It's a very slow pace. Personally, there's a lot of players that love playing like that, and they they really get a lot out of it by playing like that. And that's the great thing with this game. It's got a whole series of settings that you can use to change the game to adapt to your own personal play style. Now, I don't personally like having the slow crafting like that. That's mainly because I don't get a lot of time for playing games for myself anyway. So when I do have an hour or two, I don't want to spend half of that hour or two watching myself doing crafting, whether it's cooking or making something at the blacksmith, using the sewing hut to craft some new clothes, that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to do it quick. So I have fast crafting and the option on, which allows me to craft everything all in one big stack. And I hit once, it does it straight away, and then it's job done. The crafting bit is finished, and then I move on to my next task. And I personally love doing it like that, but there are plenty of other players who are horrified at the thought of playing it like that. And that's what I love about this game, is that you've got all of these settings, and you can change it mid-game as well. If you decide, after you've started, that you really don't like the slow crafting, or you... Okay, I jumped right out there. That messed it up a little bit. Anyway, it's time for bed. If you decide halfway through, or, you know, just a little way in, that you've got it on fast crafting, and you don't like that, you'd actually like to slow the pace down and do it slowly, you can change that setting, and it will take effect. And vice versa. Same with the weight restrictions and so on. So you can tweak the game to your own personal playstyle all the way through, and that is another beautiful, amazing thing about this game. So, yeah. And no, I'm not getting commission or anything for Medieval Dynasty. It is just a game that I've really gotten hooked on lately, and I absolutely love it. So I'm sort of eating and sleeping and thinking about Medieval Dynasty an awful lot. So I thought I'd tell you all about it as well. I know some of you will have already seen it. Some of you will have heard of it, not played it. Some of you will play it already, and some of you will never have heard of it and think, ooh, that sounds really interesting. This could be a game for me. Others will no doubt have just heard my description and say, nah, from what you've said, definitely not my type of game. I definitely wouldn't enjoy playing that at all. We really get through our food quickly here, don't we? Right. Let's go to you. Just slow the timescale down because I'm about to run out of food. 533 litres. And I'm going to... Actually, I'm going to go into the hay in here. I'm going to take everything out that I can. Put in what I can for the cattle, and the rest of it will go into the shed that we've now got. Why are you not dropping out? Just not go into this trailer, or what? Should do. Am I... Oh, wait a minute. If I activate the grass dryer, it should then actually start to dry the hay, which is kind of what we need it to do. But because Frithgar is a moron, it didn't do it. This one is €2 a month, so I'm just going to leave that one running. The sawmill down here. Planks are full. I've got 384,000 there. Right, that's good. That's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. That is absolutely tickety-boo as far as I'm concerned. You in here. I've now got 40,000 hay. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to leave this one running continuously, I think, from this point on, so that we don't have that happen again. So we'll dump the 40,000 litres of hay in here. It's probably going to be a bit more by the time we finish emptying it all out. 40, 50... 60, 64,000. Right. It does process the hay very, very quickly. But I think we'll leave that 600 on as a permanent expense, just to sort of compensate for the fact that we now make our hay obscenely fast. And then we'll drop this in here. Jump back to the cattle. And now we can see this one filling up. So they will stay happy and healthy. There we go. And I've still got 30,000 litres on me, so we can tip a little bit more out a little bit later. And you can stay there. So let's go back up to 60 times speed. And I'm going to do another day of just working on this bit up here. So I was doing some painting. This way. I was, at the moment, just painting out the garden. Because I want to get rid of all of the trees and shrubs and stuff. Well, not the trees and shrubs, just the undergrowth, the plants. Like this. So anyway, Medieval Dynasty. I think it's a game that some of you will really like, and I think it's a game that some of you won't like. It's definitely worth a look for those of you who haven't heard of it before. Go check it out on Steam and see what you think. I personally love it and will probably be playing it to death for a little while. I was playing Skyrim, a very, very heavily modded Skyrim for the last few months, but a couple of weeks ago, well, I'd say probably actually a month ago now, probably 4 weeks ago, Medieval Dynasty dropped, because I played it quite a lot a while back, quite a while back now, but they dropped a really big update, and there's a whole load of quality of life changes, as well as some big content stuff has been added as well. And this big update, I sort of thought, oh yeah, I'll have a look at that, because, you know, some of these bits, they seem quite interesting. And as soon as I went back to the game, there's a reason that I only get maybe a couple hours of gameplay on stuff at any given time. It's not often I get to spend whole days gaming. So if I've accumulated 100 or more hours on a game, that's essentially been my game of choice for in excess of a month, at least, in order for me able to get 100 hours on a game. And that one was sitting on around 180 hours before I went back to it. So that just gives you an idea of how much I had been playing it. Because it's not necessarily the hours total that I've put in on it, it's the number of days that I've kept going back to that game before I've gotten slightly bored with it. So I've got a lot of games that are on the 20 to 30 hour mark, and that's not because I don't particularly like them. 20 to 30 hours may not seem like a lot, but that does represent for me more. If I've done 20 to 30 hours, it's because I've played that game for about a week, maybe a week and a half. And I've liked it enough to keep going back to it for a week and a half. It's not any longer than that. But a week and a half of gameplay. That's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.